DJV download. I'm Doug.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
This podcast made possible in part by Calitrin, the safe way to lose weight, Prevagen, keeping your brain healthy, and My Pillow, guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own. Okay, so the Super Bowl continues to, I guess, pique people's interest. There was a guy who won two $1 million bets. You see that? And he lost the third one by a point in the first half of the Super Bowl. Because there's betting going on no matter what it is. There is all kinds of betting. And you can, there was so much money made. I think, was it $7.6 billion or something that was made? At any rate, there was an extra point that apparently was botched. And the bettor netted $883,333.33 on that bet. But he had previously won $1 million for some, they bet the play.
Those different prop bets?
Yeah, right. You bet the play, who's going to go down, all of that stuff. I'm certainly not sophisticated enough at all to understand all of this. But
people bet over or under even if the national anthem is going to be 2 minutes or not.
And the second that it's going to happen and who's going to get tripped up and it's really amazing. Okay. The LA Rams wide receiver Van Jefferson won the Super Bowl. What else did he win, Jay?
He had an amazing prize of his newborn son, his wife, who had said right before the Super Bowl that she was definitely feeling 40 weeks pregnant. She was due on February 17th, and she was just going to pray that her water did not break during the game and that she would try to stay as calm as possible. Didn't work because there were reports that she was taken out of the stadium on a stretcher because her water did break. And Jefferson's wife, Samaria, she didn't want her husband to know because she knew he would leave the game immediately to go be with her at the hospital. So she made everybody, don't tell him until the game's over. And so as soon as the Rams clinched the win, he learned about it. He went and grabbed his 5-year-old daughter, and they headed to the hospital to meet the newborn son.
Oh, sweet.
What point in the game did she leave? Do we know? Was it like
no? We don't know what
or
point she actually
quarter?
left.
Oh.
Yeah.
She had a pretty good labor, though.
I wonder if there's a bet on that. Somebody probably bet on that,
right?
too.
Well, there was a bet if someone, Lewis said there was a bet if one of the players would propose to their girlfriend on the field after the game. I don't think anyone did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, they did. So one of the players, you mean? One of the Rams proposed, to his girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
On the field?
Would have taken that.
Yeah, Taylor Rapp or something like that, I think is his name, yeah.
Really?
Well, that's a bet we should have taken.
How about that? Well, there are a lot of people who are looking at the Bengals, it was their game to lose, and apparently they did it in a big way, in a strange way. No team has lost this way in 40-some-odd years, it would seem. The DJV program, Doug Steffen, Jennifer Horn, Jay Kirshner, Victoria Keelan are here to romance you with our thoughts and experiences. That's romance because it's Valentine's week. Probably, I want to say hi, by the way, to listeners Michael Glover, Morgan Lofting, Kenny Tosh. Hello. Welcome to our experience. Welcome to our program. The romance scammers, Victoria and I were talking about this. I think it's a good thing to spread around. Those of you who are into romance, and who isn't, it's Valentine's week, except me. I'm not into it. But there are a lot of people who, why are you chuckling? That's true.
You're Captain Curmudgeon. So
Captain Curmudgeon. All right. So the scammers that have made off with all this money in cryptocurrency, how is it tied? Were people paying for dates with cryptocurrency? Is that what the FTC
No, the scams are, and this is exactly like the plot of The Tinder Swindler, which is a documentary that I recommend to everyone. It's like bizarrely entertaining, and it's really an eye-opening experience if you're dating online. And so what happens is these people are all getting catfished. And so they started a relationship with someone.
What does it mean to be catfished?
Well, so they start a relationship with someone, and then at some point, the person that they think that they're dating, they think it's a real person. It's usually a bot or it's, a con artist. And then they mention that they have some sort of money trouble and that's what's preventing them from being together and all kinds of like crazy stuff. Or, in the Tinder Swindler, he had all these women convinced that he was moving in with them. He was on FaceTime with them as these women were walking through apartments and houses with real estate agents. parents, and they were convinced that this is their boyfriend and they're going to move in together. And then, sure enough, he needed to borrow money, and then his credit card wasn't working, and he couldn't make the wire transfer, and all this other crap. And so this is what's happening, and unfortunately, people are falling for this. In, like we said, that it's $139 million in crypto. Crypto obviously is the preferred. The preferred currency of scammers and catfishers because it's untraceable. And once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. It's not like a wire transfer. So $547 million were lost to scammers in 2021. That's
great.
It's really
happy Valentine's Day. Okay, so in league with that, as long as we're in the romance mood, that certainly puts you in the mood. Hearing that.
Yeah.
So there's a program that's meant to lower internet service costs for Americans. This is something that we've been talking about here because I feel a lot of our programming goes to mid-south stations, Midwest stations, places that are very rural. So I'm on your side when it comes to farmers, especially people living in rural America that don't have the same internet service that we do have on the East Coast, the West Coast, bigger cities.
We take it for granted, I think, don't we?
Yeah, I think we really do. Except when I was traveling around this past weekend, I was in places. I went to a place called Cavendish, Vermont, to look at a farm. And when I was trying to send the information back to my son and his wife and their family, I wouldn't. There was no service.
No service. Yeah.
That was the other thing I thought about when we were talking about whether to buy it or not to buy it. The service is, you have to go 10 miles before you get any service into the town, and you get a little bit of like 3 bars or something.
Southern Vermont, I know you weren't in Southern Vermont, but I think Vermont in general needs to get it together, because I used to go up to Vermont, to Southern Vermont all the time, to the Mount Snow area, and we knew within 45 minutes of getting to our cabin that we would have no service, and we had no cell service for days. You'd have to drive so far just to get, one bar. So I don't know what's happening in like all of Vermont, but maybe they're part of this program.
Well, but Upper New York State is the same.
Yeah.
When you get into Upper New York, I was in a place called Malone, New York, middle of nowhere. There was no service there. I didn't have any service. When I tried to send, the video that you have seen, some of you, either at djvshow.com or my own Facebook page at facebook.com/DJV show, of me on this is an ice-breaking ferry going across Lake Champlain, and I'm there like, it looks like I'm driving on the ice. Kind of a cool video. It was kind of fun. But there was no service there. I didn't have service for miles and miles and miles. And so you think about how dependent, I wasn't thinking I was annoyed that I didn't have it. I was thinking how dependent we've become on all of this stuff. And that is...
Well, it's not even just us. And like, it's, it's frustrating when you're just, if you want to like put something on Instagram, but think about all the small businesses that everyone needs a website, right? You can't run a retail business without a website.
That's true.
And think about like how that impacts farmers and people who have to communicate with. It's really wild, and it is a rural America problem for sure. So to get back to, we got derailed, but to get back to what you were saying, the story is the Affordable Connectivity Program, the ACP. That is the largest federal program that's aimed at helping low-income Americans afford service. They have a discount of $30 a month that's knocked off the bill. But it has to go farther than that. It can't just be, here's a discount, because if you have no internet service, what good is a discount going to do if you don't have the service to begin with? And so this is part of the infrastructure bill to get, and this is, when we talked about the FCC under the last administration, Ajit Pai, who was the head of the FCC, I was not a fan of his at all. He did not care whatsoever about rural America and having connectivity. That's why he was so against net neutrality. And so now, hopefully, we can get some infrastructure going where rural America, wherever it is, whether it's upstate New York or Vermont, New England, or the Midwest, we have got to make sure that we have got everybody connected. And I know you hate 5G. But that's just, that's the reality is these people have no G's. So we need to at least get to like 3 or 4G for them.
No G's.
No G's.
I had no G's when I couldn't send anything, and
Right.
therefore, right. The folks at SpaceX are at it. They've planned 3 new privately crewed missions, including one with their flagship Starship spacecraft. This is very interesting. These privately funded missions, known as the Polaris program, I guess they're pretty much, when you get into the private companies, these 3 big companies that are now doing all of this stuff, imagine countries who put up the dough to do this, and now these 3 are able, because they have enough money, to do the same thing that individual countries were doing. It's quite, I would like to see them all get together, kind of like I said before with the International Space Station, which was really the first demonstration of all of the countries that were involved in space programs coming together, although I don't think the Chinese have never sent, there's no Chinese representation, is there?
Yeah,
In
I think there's a Chinese
Chinese
astronaut in the space station right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I know we had Russians with
Yeah.
us, so it was, and I remember hearing something from a couple of my friends who are attached to the Space Coast and know what's going on at NASA, how the reports that these people came back with as to how they got along, how much fun it was. The boundaries of countries go away when you're in space. And I can't help but wonder sometimes, I know it's naive.
Yeah, you're
or
just
something.
astronauts when you're up there. Right?
Yeah, right. But I mean, why do we have borders for countries? Why? Who created all of that? Why do we have borders for states? I know people say, well,
I mean,
because they need
each
to
country
organize
has a different
things.
form of government. If you want to live like China, well, then continue to take away our border, which isn't so good.
Well, why would we, if we took away the borders, why would we assume automatically that everybody
who
would be like
governs?
China?
Who governs?
But are
that?
do they govern? Does it fall into that we would? Is the thought that everybody would be stupid enough to want to, or to just ascend into, or descend is actually the right word.
It would be the
descend
ultimate
into-
quest for power. Is who? If this were a global,
Well, but that's what
economy,
they're doing now. It's the ultimate quest for power now.
but
That's
at
what they're
least
doing.
within
They're
our own
trying to
systems,
take over
right?
the world.
I mean, I don't know if that makes it feel better, but at least within our own systems, I don't know. I think a global be interesting to see what would happen, but I certainly believe that it would be more apt that we'd all be living like China's living right now than anything else.
Well, there are a lot of people who think in the next 35 or 40 years that's what's going to happen. I don't subscribe to that, but it is what it is. And people say, well, look, the stock market has fallen down for the 3rd consecutive day. What's going to happen? Things are falling apart. What nonsense. For the naysayers that want to have everything look bad, there's a local newspaper chain here where I am in central Massachusetts called The Patch. And I swear to God, the editors must be from the New York Times.
Oh, yeah, I read Patch. No, that's all local news that they pull from.
Yeah, but it's all
that's
negative.
across the country.
It's the headlines, see how much snow is going to affect your life this weekend. It's like, hello,
But who doesn't need to know that? Everyone needs to know if snow is going to
thrown in my
work.
face that it's going to be a horror show.
Now you're anti-news. Like that is local
Especially if
news.
you're traveling for
Right.
work, you need to know what the roads
Of
are
course.
going to
Oh,
be like.
yeah, fine.
You're the only person
yourself
that
enough
looks at
time.
weather
Oh, my
is
God.
bad news.
Got to go to the store and get your milk and eggs and bread.
Yeah, I want to go to the store and get some potato milk.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
All right, you'll all be happy to know that Dr. Deborah Burks, remember her? She was kind of the second banana to phony Fauci. She's written a book, going to release her memoirs.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I just want to know who reads all these books. Everybody's got a book, but who reads them all?
Well,
I don't.
Critics.
I don't know, but her book's supposed to be about COVID, but you notice that in the title, it's like she has Trump administration in there because she probably figures that'll get people reading about
Trump
it.
will read it, right, exactly.
Yeah, well, I don't know
Trumpers.
about him reading it,
Trumpers
but
will
will
read
bring
it.
He doesn't
people
read
in.
books.
You're the. I would think it would be your anti-Trumpers. You know, the anti-Trumpers like you, Doug.
Oh, you mean Scott? Wow.
Well, I just figure, we like to
I'm
label
not anti.
people. So.
Well, I don't know whether I'm anti or I'm not. I just don't. I've been his guest at Mar-a-Lago a couple of times, and
no, you were not a guest of his.
I was a guest of a member.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The food's good.
Get it straight.
Anyway, it's an interesting, fascinating place, actually. Sort of reminds me of an era long gone, in a sense. Oh, Marjorie Merriweather Post was one who, that era, sort of the Art Deco era of America. And it's kind of a fun, it was a different time, shall we say. The Susan Lucci discussion, she had her second emergency heart surgery. Did you see that?
Susan Lucci?
From All My Children. Yep.
Yeah, she's a big heart advocate, big heart health advocate.
Yeah.
Wait, she had heart surgery?
I don't think it was recent, though. I think this has been a little while, right?
This has been, well,
you mean Doug's not telling us current story?
Well, I mean, I know, look, I don't know for sure, but I know that she goes out every February because it's Heart Health Month.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she's out there always talking about making sure you get your preemptive checks and all, and know your numbers and that kind of thing, because she was taken by surprise. I mean, you look at Susan Lucci, you think she doesn't even eat like air. So
she's
you
so
think
tiny.
that, yeah, but she had issues.
Issues. We have issues. We have lots and lots of issues. Well, Ben and Jen don't seem to have any issues. So, Jay, what did Jennifer do for her sweetheart once the movie hit the theaters this weekend? I wonder what Ben thought of her attention, those eyes when she was looking at Owen Wilson. What do you think? Oh, do you really feel that way? Or are you just a good actress?
I think that they're both actors, so they know how it goes. He's probably not. He's totally unfazed by it. But Ben did give Jen a really sweet Valentine's Day present. This is their first Valentine's Day since rekindling the romance. And what do you get the girl who has everything? Something sentimental, obviously. So he gave her a video montage of a bunch of clips from their time together before, like some clips from their movie Geely back in the early aughts, red carpet events. Ben was in her Jenny from the Block music video, so some of that, and it was all set to her song "Marry Me," which is in her.
How much
her
do you
new
think Jennifer Garner must just throw up watching all of this? I don't know. If I were Jennifer Garner, I would
kind of
like,
feel sorry for Jennifer Garner. How do you not question your entire marriage to Ben Affleck when he rebounded?
Plus you had to go through all the crud with him, the drinking, the gambling.
Yeah. I know.
Didn't Jennifer Garner have a new boyfriend, a doctor or something? She seemed quite happy.
I think he's a finance guy or something, but he's very good looking, so props for her. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's not. Wait a minute. Are you that superficial?
Yes.
You are?
Yes, of
Really?
course. Good for her. She got a hot guy. I mean, why not?
All right, Jay, keep going. What else do we have? What else was in this montage? Because it looks like it was kind of cool. And wait a minute. Okay, hold on just a second. Mm-hmm. So what you said about Jennifer Garner, does that apply to Mark Anthony, who really did seem to love her when they were married?
Mark Anthony has dated every Miss Universe on the planet. So Mark Anthony, he looks like a little Skeletor, but somehow he gets the hottest girls on the planet. Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, it seems like Mark Anthony and J-Lo have continued a friendship. They're great co-parents for their kids, but they also did a lot of business together after their divorce.
And I guess my point is that neither one of them went off the rails. Ben Affleck was off the rails, and Jennifer Garner had to deal with it.
You're
and
right,
now
Jennifer.
he's like gaga over someone else. Ugh.
Right. What about A-Rod? Where is he? He doesn't really, he didn't care, right? He's just out.
Apparently that was another rumor that he believes, as he and Jennifer Lopez are unraveling all their businesses that they had together. They had vitamins and they had her J-Lo Beauty and all kinds of stuff. So they're unraveling all of those business deals. And so there was a rumor running around social media, I guess, from one of the gossip rags that he believes that he's going to get her back. And then Mark Anthony actually commented on the story with just a whole bunch of laughing emojis. So,
Really?
yeah.
Lovely.
He knows the truth.
Yeah. Silly stuff. Okay, there it is, an update. Somebody asked me the other day how he could lose his belly fat.
Calitrin targets all over body fat. You know, of course, belly fat tends to be where everybody carries it, but Calitrin just really gives your body back what it needs. So it revs up your metabolism naturally, and you burn off those fats and sugars the way that your body wants to. So you do lose the belly fat along with just all over toning too.
So does Calitrin work best with a diet with an exercise program?
Well, we have people that have had success with it both ways. Obviously, if you're eating better, eating in moderation, staying away from the sugars and the sodas, you're going to see results faster than if you're just taking it by itself. But our 90-day program, that huge 86% success rate that we have, that's just with taking Calotren alone. So check it out on our website, toploss.com. All the information is at toploss.com. That's TOPLOSS.com, or call us 1-833-TOP-LOSS.
And use the DJV code for all these specials when you check out. All right. So in terms of social media buzz, we were talking about Ben Affleck and how nice the gift was that he gave to Jennifer, his one true love. But apparently before he went back to Jennifer, he was doing the hoochie coochie with the lady who's in this movie with him. What's her name? Anna de Armas? Or something?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know who
Anna de Armas.
Yeah.
And,
so,
yeah.
What's that doing to he's had many dalliances. I don't remember, how long was his involvement with her, just while they were making this movie?
I think it extended a little bit after the movie, right? They were together
after they
for
were
a
done
bit.
filming.
Yeah, I don't know. There were a lot of rumors that this was a PR relationship. I mean, every time they walked their dog, like it was, or her dog or whatever, it was just very, like, the streets were lined with paparazzi. It just felt fine, kind of fake.
Do you remember when Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello were dating and they would go on walks too? Theirs felt like they were actually just together going on walks. Where
Right.
Ben Affleck and Anna de Armas, like you said, Victoria, it was very staged. It was very like, okay, we have to be out on this street at this time and
Right.
let people know that you're there.
Look,
it was
it's not the first relationship that studios have put together. They've been doing that for 50 years, right?
forever.
Yeah, go back to
I wonder
the
how
30s.
many relationships started like that, but then actually developed into real love.
Something
The
else?
rumor is that it's Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles are exactly what you just described, that was a publicity thing and then it's turned into something real.
I love that story.
It's a sweet
I like
story.
them together.
I do too.
All right,
yeah,
Whoopi
that's cute.
Goldberg has gone back to The View. So what did she say, and does anybody care?
People did care. That's why she was suspended for 2 weeks from the show. She was talking about the Holocaust, and her comments were that it wasn't about race. It was more about man's inhumanity to man. And she went on an apology tour. She apologized after that
Why?
show had aired
I don't
back.
think I didn't have a problem with that. Did you have a problem with that statement?
Well, she was ill-informed. She was uneducated about the issue. She was ill-informed, and
She
look,
didn't
she
know
was
the
blat-
ethnicity,
she was
the
wrong.
Jewish ethnicity.
Right. She
versus
made an
religion.
incorrect statement, but
Okay.
but that's the thing. Like I don't. Marjorie Taylor Greene says the wrong stuff all the time. She thinks that the Gestapo is actually gazpacho, the soup, but no one wants to fire her, and that's an actual quote. I mean, she said that.
Really?
So people say factually incorrect things all the time. I don't think you should lose your life for it.
Wait
in
a
your
minute.
career.
You're always telling me that I'm making factually. I
You
should
do it
be
all the
banned
time,
from being on the
and
air.
we're still here.
I should be thrown off the air then, right? Get him off of there. All right. So anyway, Whoopi's back. Whoopi.
I'm Greg. I'm 68 years old. Grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Majored in business administration. I do motivational speaking in addition to substitute teaching. Part of the reason for my motivational speaking is I kind of feel like I have a calling or giving back to the younger generation. The golden rule is do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. My wife, Wanda, is a senior flight attendant. She's been flying for over 30 years. We do laugh quite a bit. I think most adults will start realizing that they don't recall things as quickly as they used to, or they don't remember things as vividly as they once did. I've been taking Prevagen for about 3 years now. People say to me periodically, man, you got a memory like an elephant. It's really, really helped me tremendously.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Greg Fraley is a paid testimonialist and real Prevagen user, based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is the DJV Download. I'm Doug.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
This podcast made possible in part by Calotren, the safe way to lose weight, Prevagen, keeping your brain healthy, and MyPillow, guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own.